IMF warns Nigeria and others against borrowing from China and Saudi Arabia as global public debt hit 92% of GDP. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in to listen. Please subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post hot juicy news updates. Please click on the notification bell. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has called on government and finance ministers of member states to use fiscal policy tools to curb the rate at which they borrow to finance the budget. The IMF's Deputy Managing Director, Geeta Gopinath, made the call in her introductory remarks for the conference, Fiscal Policy in an Era of High Debt, in Washington, obtained by the Whistler. Gopinath said debt levels have been rising across countries for some time, which she said calls for caution as to where countries borrow from, especially the non-pari club creditors like China, India, and Saudi Arabia. According to her, since the mid-1970s, global public debt tripled to reach 92% of GDP by the end of 2022. She said rising deficit and debt in countries such as the United States have serious ramifications for emerging and developing economies who are hit by rising rates and weaker currencies. And many economies, particularly low-income countries, are already in debt distress. The combination of record high global debt levels, higher for longer interest rates, and weak growth prospects poses a triple challenge for policymakers. In a shock-prone world, very few countries will have the physical space to support their economies. To help our 190 member countries navigate these challenges, we need a renewed focus on fiscal policy to make sure it is fit for purpose. The IMF Deputy MD explained that demands on government budgets are increasing, from delivering social support to financing the green transition to bolstering defense spending and a renewed push for industrial policies. She said, and I quote, "It is politically difficult to cut spending or raise taxes. Debt finance spending may still seem tempting, but that would be a grave mistake, setting debt on an unsustainable trajectory as borrowing costs rise sharply. Revenues also need to keep up with spending. For our part, the IMF must balance our cautionary policy advice with an understanding of the economic and social forces underpinning these political choices." She alluded to how in the past 2 years, central banks have grappled with how to address elevated and persistent inflation levels. Gopinath said in several cases, fiscal policymakers may have not been in sync with monetary policymakers, which she believes has complicated the fight against inflation. She advised government to evaluate vulnerabilities arising not only from public debt levels, but also from the composition of debt, including the identity of creditors, currency, and maturity composition that apply. The IMF Deputy MD added, the change in the creditor landscape with a growing number of non-Paris Club creditors like China, India, and Saudi Arabia has implications for the processes involved in debt restructuring. While important progress has been made, a lot more is needed for countries to receive timely debt relief. Now, I hope all those during Buhari period that came outside and were like, abroad people, then they owe now, then they borrow now. Even the US, as huge as the economy is borrowing. I hope they can hear what they're doing. Had they been they borrow this money and it is being used on capital projects, as in capital project that in the next 1 year, 2 years, sometime we start seeing revenue. We start seeing the revenue and start paying off that debt, and that particular project is able to pay fully that project and then able to not generate revenue. I would say, okay, the government is doing well. But that time, we are borrowing to budgets. Just like the wasteful 50 billion naira they wasted when they bought this recent, how many SUVs for 160 million naira for 360 house of, I don't know if it is Senate members or House of Reps. And I'm saying, can you imagine? Imagine the amount. Money no day, the one that is available. How do you even handle it? So IMF is coming out to draw everybody hand for ear. This is not the one that you did not know or you are not aware. You are now fully aware. IMF is now coming out to say, make everybody know as in they use borrow. And it is true, interest rates are now increasing. A loan that you will get before for, let's say, less than 5%, what's it called, when you're going to be wanting to refund it back. Now you will get it for, it is by the grace of God, you get it for 7.5, if not 10, if not even 15. You understand? So make everybody pay. And I've said it before, apart from borrowing and apart from oil, can't this government, maybe this government say they're smart. Maybe they're saying they generated, they made the IGR in Lagos, make it to be 50. They should look for something else. You understand? They should look for what? Something else to do to boost our IGR. It must not be taxing, it must not be, let them look for another, permit me to use the word, mineral resources. Let them look towards maybe agriculture, or maybe let them look towards what will I use now? Just, there is lithium in this country. There is natural gas. You understand? There's even crystal stones. There is gold. Let them look towards that direction and start creating revenues out of those sectors, if you ask me. You understand? IMF don't come outside, can't talk again. Because the last time IMF came outside and spoke last year, people were like, Buhari, this one, you do that one. It is not only Nigeria that is borrowing now, but those people that are borrowing, what are they borrowing for? Can they pay back? Just like as a human being, if you are getting money, you should have a means of paying back now, except you want to go and jump inside lagoon. You know that jumping inside lagoon is your last resort. That is when you will now go, leave your house, go and tell people that you need money, you want money, you collect the money from them, solve a particular issue, and then you have no intention of paying. Do you understand? And then they are harassing you everywhere, and after you say, you give yourself depression, or you give yourself that depression. If you know that you're not going to be able to pay back a particular something, you know what? You sit down. The right way to go about it in this country, this news is not a good news. The right way to go about it is to make sure that we cut our borrowing. We cut it, we reduce it. We start doing more as a people. We start doing more as a people, avoiding anything that will make us borrow at all from anywhere. Alright, on this note, we have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.